With the release of Fallout 76's Steel Rain expansion, it is time to do another honest review of the game. I unintentionally skipped Wastelanders and Steel Dawn and never made reviews for those expansions. I never got around to it, but if you're here watching and wondering if Fallout 76 is any good, the answer is yes. For this review, I want to focus entirely on the story of Steel Rain. The expansion did come with other features and fixes, but this will be an honest review of just the story. To start, I should say that there will be zero spoilers for Steel Rain. I may have a spoiler or two for Steel Dawn, which is very important for Steel Rain, but I will keep those to a minimum. Before I begin, if you enjoy this video, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share, and hit the sub bell for future video and stream notifications. A good place to start would be what I really loved about the story of Steel Rain. It was a direct continuation of Steel Dawn, which ended with a seemingly imminent civil war brewing between Brotherhood leadership. While at first Steel Rain addressed the results of Steel Dawn, the story took a few twists and turns that I was not expecting. I was genuinely impressed with the writing for this expansion. It was a hybrid of storytelling we saw with Wastelanders, which used human NPCs, and the passive storytelling we saw with Vanilla 76, which used holotapes, notes, and terminals. Don't worry, the use of passive storytelling is only used a few times throughout Steel Rain, but the way it is used to help you crack a mystery, solve a puzzle, and ultimately get into the mind of the main baddie made these parts of the story really enjoyable. Speaking of the main baddie, this person, who will remain nameless to avoid spoilers, took me on a roller coaster ride of thoughts and emotions. I was not expecting this antagonist to have such a thought-provoking story. I would not compare them to the likes of Voss from Far Cry 3, GLaDOS of Portal, or Handsome Jack of Borderlands, but compared to other antagonists in other Fallout games, this person is very well written. The twist alone of helping to identify them shows how closely tied Steel Dawn is with Steel Rain. While the intro Steel Rain tied directly to Dawn, the middle of the story went into a different direction. By the end, everything from the beginning of Dawn to the end of Rain made a lot of sense and closed shut in a neat circle. While the story took me almost 4 hours to complete, its shortness isn't necessarily a bad thing. There is almost no filler in the story from Dawn to Rain. Every mission is necessary. In Fallout 4, which I've been playing on stream, you should go check it out. There are a lot of filler missions that require you to fetch this thing or kill this person. In particular, Steel Rain doesn't do that. Everything fits in a nice, neat 6 to 8 hour, 2-part storyline. If you decide to explore every nook and cranny, you can probably stretch it to 10 hours. Overall, the story and the writing of Steel Rain and Steel Dawn as well is absolutely solid. The storyline is among the best in Fallout 76, if not the best. Comparing it to other Fallout games is kind of weird, but I would say it is somewhat comparable to Fallout 3 and probably better than Fallout 4 for some people, maybe not others. I think that having the story being so short made it so much better than I was expecting it to be. Steel Dawn and Rain is a great example of a very good short storyline. Other smaller things that I really enjoyed would include the sound design and the new enemy factions introduced in Steel Rain. The sound was pretty spot on in telling the direction the story was taking. The main theme is an alternate take on the nuclear winter theme from 2 years ago. There was a sense of danger and the sound delivered. Of the two new factions, one was pretty spot on for an enemy faction in the Fallout game, and the other was kind of terrifying and unexpected. They both tie into the story, so no spoilers there. There is one bonus thing that happens about halfway through that I didn't expect at all, but it was a good nod to Wild Appalachia. I'm just gonna say it no longer makes me trust any random animal noises out in the wild. There isn't much to note on the bad side of things revolving around the story of Steel Rain, but my biggest complaint would be the writing for side characters and their voice acting. Some of the new side characters had questionable at best personalities and voice acting. I do totally understand that the pandemic might make things difficult for some voice actors. These characters just didn't do it for me. They were minor, which is fine, but they were forgettable at best. There were some good characters, including the main antagonist, the 3 main Brotherhood members Rahmani, Shin, and Valdez, and a concerning number of psychopaths. What's a Fallout game without a few terrifying characters? Remember Cleo? Please, Cleo, I don't want to die, just sell me the ammo I need. Send help. Other than that, I would say there is very little to not like about Steel Rain, other than the handful of bugs I saw here and there. Before the conclusion, I do want to say how much the conflict between Rahmani and Shin helped glue Steel Dawn and Steel Rain together. It was like the two sides of a coin trying to exist in the sunlight at the same time. While playing Steel Dawn, I grew to love Rahmani and hate Shin. Valdez was on the side doing her thing, but I also loved her character. Shin was definitely written the way he was for Steel Dawn because his background, his tragic faults, becomes so clear by the end of Rain. I ended up actually liking his character in Steel Rain, despite hating him in Dawn. I felt some kind of feeling towards his character because he meant well and did what he thought was right. I ultimately sided with Rahmani because her version of the Brotherhood of Steel was a better idea in my opinion. If you look back at what they did in Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, the Brotherhood's actions by taking a literal manifestation of America and using it to destroy, obliterate, and eviscerate multiple enemy factions, yes, I'm talking shit about you Liberty Prime, isn't all that good looking if you peel away at the surface of what they did. Rahmani's Brotherhood, which wants to help those that ask for it, is my preferred choice. I will not spoil the ending, but it is important to know that the ending of Steel Reign may not be the end of the Brotherhood storyline in Fallout 76. It all depends on which ending is canon and whether, if anything, in Fallout 76 is canon. Overall, I would give the story of Fallout 76 Steel Reign a solid 9 out of 10. In my previous review video, I gave Vanilla 76 a generous 7 out of 10, but that was with Wild Appalachia included. Vanilla 76 really deserved a 6 out of 10. With Wild Appalachia, the game was at a 7 for me for adding mini DLCs that expanded the content for the game and making it much more playable. Nuclear Winter is in a weird spot for me, because half the content for the expansion, if you want to call it that, was removed from the game. The other half, which is a Battle Royale mode, is being shut down in September. Nuclear Winter gets no score because it barely exists at this point as a noteworthy expansion. Wastelanders, had I given it a score, would have gotten a 7.5 out of 10. There was a lot to love with it, but there were too many things that I really didn't like that made the game slightly annoying to play. In general, it was a big improvement over Vanilla 76. Finally, Steel Dawn, while very short, got an 8 out of 10 for having a pretty good story with very good characters. Despite it having a cliffhanger the size of Halo 2, it picked up immediately at the start of Steel Dawn. It is an understatement to say that Fallout 76 has vastly improved in the almost 3 years it's been out. I know a lot of people still give a crap, but it doesn't deserve to be crapped on anymore. Miraculously, it wasn't the biggest gaming fail of 2018, rest in peace Anthem. I would say with Steel Reign, Fallout 76 is approaching in No Man's Sky style a redemption arc. I'm serious, I played that game day one and look at it now. It's soared to a place farther than the last star in the galaxy. Fallout 76 isn't a great Fallout game, but it is a great open world looter shooter with many bandages on it. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share, and hit the sub bell for future video and stream notifications.